What's up, peeps and geeks? This is Killetch bringing you another video. Today we're going to be talking about a tweet from Mark Rubin that states or confirms that PlayStation 4 will be running natively at 1080p and the Xbox will be running at 720p upscaled. So for those of you who don't know, native means it actually is true 1080p, whereas the Xbox is just upscaling. This is a huge deal. He also says that both will be running 60 FPS. Gosh, I mean, okay, so a lot of you probably don't know much about the difference of 1080p versus 720p. So what I have done is I have put up a site, or not a site, a page on my site that kind of shows you the differences. One of the key things is that you set your resolution to 1080p when looking at these images, or else it could be deceiving, especially if your resolution's low. It'll make it look a lot worse than it actually is. I will put in the description the link to where you can compare these. Now on the page I have small like snips that aren't zoomed in, right? If you zoom in, you're totally ruining everything, right? I just upscaled the 720 images the exact size they're supposed to be to relate to the 1080p one, but there was no actual zooming in, because if you did a full-on zoom in instead of a perfect scale, then it would definitely make the 720 look a lot worse than it is. So I encourage you to look at that. Also, at the bottom of that page, I have you could download a zip file of the full 1080p images. I have one that's 720p that's been scaled to 1080, so you can see the differences. But the key is that you set it to either your wallpaper or a program that shows the entire image, that like takes up the entire screen, and that you have your resolution in 1080, which is I believe it's 1920 pixels by 1080 is the resolution you want to make a exact comparison. But if not, then you'll lose a little bit of accuracy there. Now, resolution isn't the end-all be-all for graphics. It's definitely a large player in how good a game's gonna look, but there's also textures, geometry, lighting effects, and other effects, and probably other stuff I haven't thought of, that help or change the way a game looks for better or for worse. So it is possible that the Xbox will have maybe more lighting or other effects or better geometry to offset the difference. If the systems are pretty close in power, then they should have some room to tweak other things if they went down to 720p. So that's something to keep in mind. Ultimately, we're not going to know until these consoles come out. And yeah, I mean, I encourage you to look at the images. Don't fully judge off of these images, but I think it's a pretty good representation of what we can expect. One more thing to think about is I didn't use any special filters or whatnot for scaling these images. Infinity Ward might apply better algorithms or ways of scaling images that looks nicer, so that is one thing to keep in mind. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it informative. For anyone wondering, I'm still leaning towards Xbox, but this was interesting information that I thought